Okay. I'll share my screen. Once it happens, I'll close the WhatsApp. Yes, Prabhuji, it's happening. My screen is also visible, right?
Yes, Mataji.
Prabhuji, has it gone live? Prabhuji, Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, has it
The
gone live?
content,
I'm really
yeah,
not sure.
yes, the content of this meeting being sent to one more app. That is YouTube, I think.
So, I mean,
Yeah,
is it
you're there,
happening?
wait, Mataji, wait just a moment. Where is my mobile gone? Okay.
Stop sharing.
Yeah. It's going, Mataji, it's going live. Bhakti Shastri.
Prabhuji, is it live?
No, I'm not able to see Mataji. Bhakti Shastri scholarship. Bhakti Shastri. What name have you given, Mataji? What is the name that you have given? Bhakti Shastri English Module 1. Okay.
I don't have to publish, right? Nothing of that sort. It has taken it, right?
Because since I have not worked as a host, I don't know the rights and approaches, Mataji.
We'll, we'll
Because I
try.
have never done the host job.
Prabhuji, can you check? Can you please try logging in with your another device and check on YouTube if it is working? Then we'll.
Yeah, I'm on the YouTube only, Mataji. Bhakti Shastri. In Bhakti, Shastri,
Mm.
English.
Prabhuji, I've put in the chat.
Yeah,
It's in
I'm seeing
ISKCON
that only.
Bangalore.
English, okay. English Module 1. Just bracket. I just have to put the short name, Mataji. English Module 1.
So, Prabhuji, shall we just continue with the recording? Then
Yes, Mataji. We are
We'll
losing time.
save time.
Yeah.
We'll try this next time.
We are live. Yeah, I'm able to see. I'm YS Krishna Kumar has come live. It's coming live, Mataji.
Prabhuji, I closed it. Because, there is a difference of
It is like it's
this
live
thing,
as well.
We are unable to listen to you. There is a gap in the
All the
uh,
testing came
voice.
now.
In the morning, it worked actually. Prabhuji, I'll start with the prayers and we'll go with the recording. No worries.
Okay, no
Once
problem.
this is over, we'll try, Prabhuji. We'll sit and try once. In the
Yeah,
morning,
sure.
it was working.
No, it is coming live. Actually, from Zoom, it is coming live. Do the same process what you did now. You are live still, Mataji. No worries.
No worries, Prabhuji. We'll go live later, very later,
Yeah,
because
so
it
it's
has
okay.
already taken 10 minutes of ours. I'm really extremely sorry. Because something was wrong because in the morning it was working fine.
It came live, Mataji. I can send you the link address.
We'll try that, Prabhuji, once this class is over. No worries from tomorrow.
Yeah. No problem, Mataji.
Sure, I'll go with the recording.
Sure, Mataji.
Thank you.
Even now it is live.
Mm. Okay. We'll start with the prayers. अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरून् श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे नमो महावदान्याय कृष्णप्रेमाप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नाम्ने गौरद्विषे नमः। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधा कान्त नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी श्रीराधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे मूकं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरून् दीनतारिणम्। Always to Sri Prabhupada, always to Sri Guru. Hare Krishna everyone, Dandak Pranam. I hope my screen is visible. I'm sorry, I just missed to share the Manglacharan. I wasn't aware that people might not be knowing that. Yeah, yes, we can start. So, what did we see in the last class? We'll check that out. Yeah. So, in as a part of the lesson 3 review, we have explained what were the principles of Varnashram Dharma. So, we have seen like what are the four Varnas, Chatur Varna Maya Srishtim. So, the four Varnas and the four Ashramas. Then we have also seen the Arjuna's reasons for not fighting to the principles. How is it associated with Varnashram Dharma? So, what are the four reasons for not fighting, which Arjuna was giving? Can you please raise your hands?
Compassion,
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Can see, yes, Murari Chaitanya Prabhuji, Hare Krishna. You can share one reason, Prabhuji, so that others can also speak. Yes, please. Sorry, we are not able to hear you, Prabhuji. Can you please raise your hand? Just a minute. Well, can you please try it again, Prabhuji, once?
Yes, thank
Now
you.
it's okay.
Yeah. So yeah, loss of enjoyment, and the
Loss of
compassion,
enjoyment.
loss of
Yeah, there
enjoyment,
won't be. Yes,
and fear of
yes.
sinful
Thank you,
nature
Prabhuji.
and destruction
Yeah,
by perdition.
Prabhuji, just one so that others can also
Thank
participate.
you.
Yeah, thank you. Archita Mataji, no worries. Okay, yes, so we have seen there were four reasons, and which is the fifth reason? If someone would like to say that, other than Murari Chaitanya Prabhuji, which is the fifth reason?
No happiness, Mataji.
No, Prabhuji. The fifth reason is from chapter 2. We covered compassion, then no enjoyment, fear of sinful reactions. Then there is another one, which is no, the fourth one. What was the fourth reason? Yes, Bhagya Lakshmi Mataji, Hare Krishna. What was the fourth reason, Mataji, which we discussed?
Mataji,
Please.
indecision.
Yes, that is the fifth one. Very good, Mataji. And which is the fourth one? Yes, Hare Krishna, Krishna Kumar Prabhuji. The fourth reason was?
Destruction of
Could you
dynasty.
please unmute yourself, Prabhuji? We are not able to hear you. Krishna Kumar Prabhuji.
Yeah, sinful reaction.
Prabhuji, destruction, as Mataji mentioned, no? Destruction of traditions, destruction of dynasty, basically. Yeah, so these are the five reasons, and we are also seeing how Arjuna's reasons are being refuted by Lord Shri Krishna. And discussed, we have seen how general principles drawn from Arjuna's dilemma, surrender to Krishna, how they are relevant in our practice of Krishna consciousness. So we have also seen that. Not only that, we have also covered, we were talking about the qualities of the soul, right? We have covered that as well. So I'll directly destruction of the dynasty and then indecision. So these are the five reasons: compassion, enjoyment, sinful reaction, fear of sinful reactions, then destruction of dynasty and indecision. So we completed up to verse number 24, right? So we'll be taking from verse number 25 today. So let us try to have a recap. I just want to go with respect to this. Yeah. So, with respect to the various properties or the constitution of the soul, what are the various characteristics of the soul? So, please raise your hands. This is just a recap. We have seen, we have covered multiple things on this. So, this is just a quick recap. I've just picked a few of them. So, as a part of this constitution of soul, please share only one point with respect to these images which you can see here. Yes, Harshita Mataji, please share one of the points. Which one can you understand? Like, you can relate one particular, which property can you relate to which particular image, Mataji? Please pick one. Yes, Mataji.
Mataji, the weapons.
Yes,
The
yeah.
soul
So
is
the
so small that you cannot cut. It is 10,000, 1/10,000 part of the tip of the hair. So you cannot cut the soul even with the weapons or anything. So that is one of the understanding of constitution of the soul. That it
yes,
is.
yes, Mataji. Thank you. Yes, yes, Murari Chaitanya Prabhuji. The other one, which one can you, I mean, explain? I mean, see here, relate to.
Not moistened by the
Mhm.
water. The
Not
third, second
moistened by
one.
the water. Yes, 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 Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji. Yes, Mihir Prabhuji.
Mataji, we can't burn it, right? We can't burn it.
Yes, very good, very good. Thank you, Prabhuji. So we cannot, it can neither be burned by fire nor moistened by water. Yes. Any other points? Yes. Shandilya Rishi Prabhuji, Hare Krishna. Which property can you relate to? I mean, with respect to the soul, which is the property we can identify from this?
Cannot be destroyed by any weapons.
Yes, it cannot be destroyed by any weapons. Yes, Jivon Krishna Chaitanya Prabhuji. Which property
Hare
can you
Krishna.
see here? Yes, Prabhuji,
And
Hare Krishna.
not burned by fire
Not burned by fire. Very good. What
or
about
withered
these?
by
I mean,
wind.
yes, not moistened by water, withered by the wind. Okay, so we'll move on. Yes, Revati Mataji.
It cannot be seen also. It is one by 1/10,000 part of the hair.
Yes, very good. So it is 1/10,000th part of the tip of the hair. So it is invisible. We cannot see that, right? It is inconceivable. It is immutable. It cannot change. It is unbreakable. We cannot break it, right? So these are a few characteristics. It is eternal. So nor burned by fire, nor moistened by water. It is not withered by the wind. It can never be cut to pieces by any weapon. And the individual soul is unbreakable, insoluble. It cannot be solved within any kind of components, and it can neither be burned nor dried. And what is the proof of the soul? How do we know about it? Based on the Shruti, which we understand from our acharyas, right? From the Vedas. So these are, and soul is invisible, inconceivable, and it is immutable. Can neither be changed. We covered this in the previous session, right? This activity, how the violence on the battlefield of Kurukshetra differed from modern terrorism. So from today, we'll talk about verse number 26 and onwards. I request everyone to please get your books. Please open your Bhagavad Gita. So we'll start with respect to verse number 26. Would someone like to volunteer, please, to read this? Yes, Chandelier Rishi Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
अतच्चैनं नित्यजातं नित्यं वा मन्यसे मृतं तथापि त्वं महाबाहो नैनं शोचितमर्हसि. If, however, you think that the soul or the symptoms of life will always be born and die forever, you still have no reason to lament, O mighty aunt.
Yeah, so this is a very important verse. So it basically talks about, if you see that now what is happening is, what Lord Krishna is telling Arjuna is, if you still think, okay, that the soul can be born and die. So in case if you think that because we have already discussed that the soul is eternal, it is just the body which is undergoing all the transformations. So it is the body which is changing, and the soul is just changing the different bodies, just like we change the dresses, right? We just like changing of the dresses from the, when we change from old garments to the new garments, when the old garments become useless. So that also we have seen. So now what is happening, and it has its when we say that the soul is eternal, it also has its individuality. That also we have seen. So now in verse number 26, this is basically now Lord Krishna, what Krishna is trying to say to Arjuna is, he is saying, okay, according to you, if you feel the soul is it is taking birth and it is dying, so still you have no reason to lament, because if according to you, if the soul is dying along with the body, then there is no reason to lament, because Dronacharya and Bhishma and everyone, right? So the Bhishma and Dronacharya, again they are going to get a new body. So that again you do not have any reason to lament. So basically this is not this is not the theory which is this is not the right theory, this is not the one which we recommend, because basically according to this theory, there is something known as Buddhist philosophy, right? Voidism. So it supports voidism, Buddhist philosophy, wherein they talk about, it is basically equivalent to Lokayatikas and Vaibhashik philosophy. People who usually they prefer, those people who prefer this Vaibhashik philosophy, and people who prefer this Buddhist philosophy, this is equivalent, you know. So we understand from our Pranati, right, that Paschatya Deshitarine. So when we say that, we also talk about, we have voidism and impersonalism there, right? When Srila Prabhupada's Pranati mantra, what do we say? Yes, please. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna
Namaste
Prishtaya Bhutale.
Saraswati.
Yes. Yes, Srimati Bhakti Vedanta
Swami
Swami
Nityananda.
Nidhi
Swami
Namine.
Nityanamine Namine. Namaste Saraswati Devi
Namaste
Gaur
Saraswati
Vani
Devi Gauri
Pracharine
Pracharine
Nirvishesha
Nirvishesha
Shunyavadi. So what do we call?
Shunyavarya.
Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshitarine. So who,
Deshita.
who has to be delivered? Nirvisheshwadi and the Shunyavadi, right? So this is the Shunyavadi theory, basically voidism, right? So according to the voidism, they say everything is matter. Everything has to be completely vanquished into the material elements. Everything has to become void. So the origin of everything is void only, according to their philosophy. And even the thoughts have to be made void. So it's not only at the material level, right? It is like with respect to the complete body and the soul level. According to them, the soul does not exist. As soon as the body vanquishes, the soul ends along with the body itself. That is what they feel. And even the scientists, if we say the scientists in modern day scientists, according to them, their theory is also similar to this, because according to them, this body is made up of chemical elements. So when the voidism is saying that the body is made up of material elements, and the scientists are saying this body is made up of material and physical and chemical. It is just a interaction of all the chemical and physical components, right? Reactions happen, the chemical reactions happen, and that is what is giving the life symptoms to this material body. And what they say, according to them, they feel that the material miseries, all the miseries are happening only because of these material elements only. So this is wrong, this is invalid. But still, just to make sure that how to bring Arjuna to some particular level of jnana, Lord Krishna is explaining him and giving him different arguments. He is trying to refute all his arguments and also providing him. He's trying to affirm whatever he's saying, and he's trying to explain him and convince him with respect to his duties, what he has to perform. So that is why he is trying to give him different reasons, right? So would you like to volunteer to read this, please?
No one laments the loss of a certain bulk of chemicals and stops discharging his prescribed duty. So, in any case, whether Arjuna accepted the Vedic conclusion that there is an atomic soul, or he did not believe in the existence of the soul, he had no reason to lament. Lokayatikas and Vaibhashikas. Arjuna as Mahabhahu.
Yes, thank you, Prabhuji. So Arjuna is being called as a Mahabhahu.
Mahabhahu.
So yeah, so the reason being that why he is called as Mahabhahu is it is in sarcasm, like how can you talk about such theories which are really not in line with the Vedic philosophy, right? This is not what our Vedic religion supports. Our Vedic philosophy doesn't support such theories. So these are not the valid theories. So we move further. Yes, 2.27. So, yes, would someone like to volunteer, please? Yes, Harshita Mataji, please read.
जातस्य हि ध्रुवो मृत्यु ध्रुवं जन्म मृतस्य च तस्मादपरिहार्येऽर्थे न त्वं शोचितुं अर्हसि. Sorry, Mataji, I'm unable to pronounce it properly.
No worries, Mataji, that's okay. It will take some time. Na tvam shochitum arhasi. So wherever you are seeing this, no, there is a bar on top of the word, then you have to just elongate, just extend that particular letter, like apariharye, otherwise it's tvam. Na tvam shochitum arhasi. So, yes, Mataji, please continue.
One who has taken his birth is sure to die, and after death, one is sure to take birth again. Therefore, in the unavoidable discharge of your duty, you should not lament. Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. So we see that every person who is taking birth is sure to die, and again the cycle is repeating. Because what is the reason why the cycle is repeating? Because we are bound by the karmic reactions, right? So there is karma, and there is a bondage of karma. So that is the reason why we keep on taking birth again and again. So even if this cycle is happening, then why do you really fear of not why do you really fear of any kind of loss? Because you should always discharge your duty, and thus you should not lament. Because we understand, right? There is a very beautiful verse like punarapi jananam punarapi maranam punarapi janani jathare shayanam iha sansare bahu dustare kripya pare pahi murare. So it is only our murari, the Lord Mukunda. He's who can deliver us and protect us from this ocean of material miseries, from this repeated cycle of birth and death, right? Otherwise, this is like dukhalayam ashashvatam. We all understand. It is very difficult to get out of this until and unless we start doing our devotional service to Lord Krishna. So Krishna defeats. So this is the first argument of compassion, which is being defeated by Arjuna. So, because we understand with respect to the compassion, because Arjuna was showing all the bodily symptoms, right? So, against that, the understanding which Krishna is giving to Arjuna is that we are not the body, but we are the spirit soul. So, with this understanding, he's trying to bring Arjuna to this particular level of understanding, and this is how he is refuting his arguments, right? So, jnana. So, this is what we have seen. This is known as jnana, the knowledge of the body and the soul. So, it is between the it is discussed between the verses 11 to 30. Dhruva janma mritasya cha. So, dhruva, it is dhruva that if a person, one who has taken his birth, is sure to die. It is certain, right? So we cannot save the person's body, as it is clear from this picture also. It is useless. It's of no use if we keep on just saving the body of the person, or the outer garment, right? If the person is drowning, we have to save the person, isn't it? So we have to save the soul. Yes. Would someone like to volunteer to read this, please? Yes. Request everyone to please switch on your cameras.
Avyaktadini bhutani Madhyani Bharata Avyakta Nidhanani Eva Tatra Ka Paridevana. All created beings are unmanifest in their beginning, manifest in their interim state, and unmanifest again when annihilated. So what need is there for limitation? Bhagavad Gita 2.28.
Yes, thank you, Prabhuji. So, this avyaktadini bhutani. So, avyakt. So, when we see this, no, we understand like here we understand that what is avyakt. Initially, there is no body, right? Every person is changing here. From this picture, it is clear that the soul is transferring, right? It is transmigrating from one body to another. So in the initially the body, initially we understand, or when we say all the created beings are unmanifest in their beginning, the body is in the unavyakta state, right? Until and unless the I'm sorry. So until and unless the sorry. So avyakta dini bhutani, until and unless the we understand the when a newborn baby is there, right? So before the birth of the baby, the baby doesn't have a body. It is in the unmanifested, right? So similarly, when the creation happens, when the baby takes birth, that is when the soul is into the body, and that is when we can see the particular person, right? The living entity. So it comes in that vyakta state. Vyakta is madhyani state, right? That is in the interim state, in the middle state. And then again, after our death, or when everything gets annihilated, we again go into the unmanifest state, right? So what is being mentioned here is the body, it is in the unmanifest state in the starting, in the beginning. It manifests during the time when the body is there, right? We can see the body. And again, it unmanifests when the death takes place. So what need is there for the lamentation? And similarly, it goes with respect to, but the soul is eternal. It shouldn't be confused with the soul that the soul takes birth and then the soul dies. No, the soul is always eternal, but it continuously changes from one body to another. Okay, so this is with respect to verse number 28, and we have also seen the categories of the people, right? The philosophers we have discussed, like people who believe in the existence of the soul and those who do not believe, right? So we have seen those who do not believe are also known as atheists. So yes, please, would someone like to volunteer to read this, please? Please raise your hand.
May I, Mataji?
Yes, yes, Mataji, please.
There are two classes of philosophers, one believing in the existence of the soul and the other not believing in the existence of the soul. There is no cause for lamentation in either case. The law of conservation of energy. Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. So what is the law of conservation of energy?
Energy neither created nor destroyed.
Yes, and it can be
Energy can
Constant.
neither be
It is
created
always constant.
nor destroyed. It disappears in one form and reappears in another form without any loss.
so it yes it yeah, so in a way it is like it can only be transformed from one form to another, right? It can just the transfer can happen. The energy can neither be created nor destroyed, but it can be transformed or transferred from one state to another. So similarly, there is no destruction of the soul also, right? It is with respect to the law of conservation of energy. So if we go through verse number 28, it is mentioned here. The law of conservation of energy. And there is an example also which has been mentioned. See, uh, I believe this is the one. Take, for example, a big skyscraper, right? A big skyscraper. So initially, only the material element that was present was earth, right? So this is with respect to your first paragraph itself. A few last lines, the seventh last or eighth last line in the middle of the paragraph of the first paragraph, middle of the paragraph, please. Yeah, so there is an example which talks about a big skyscraper. Suppose a building. So initially there was no building. So the building, if nothing is there, it means that it is in an unmanifested, right? And later there was nothing, only the earth was there, right? And when it appeared, that particular building was created, it appeared it got manifested. And once it is dismantled or destroyed, The manifestation, what happens to the building? We cannot see the building, right? It disappeared. But this doesn't mean that it doesn't, it is not there. It is there, but it remains in the form of atoms, right? The energy is just being transferred. It is being transformed. So similarly, that is the difference. It remains, but in course of time, things they keep manifesting in unmanifested state. For example, I won't go into much details, but according to Srimad Bhagavatam, so initially when the living entities are there, or when this entire creation happens, when the Lord plans, when Mahavishnu, he glances over the Prakriti, right? So this entire creation takes place. So during that time, all the material elements, the Mahatattva is created. So we understand what are the 24 material elements. We'll be covering that later in the different chapters. So what happens initially, the jivas, they are impregnated into the material nature by the Lord, right? All the jivas, they are impregnated into the material nature. So initially, all the jivas, they were in the avyakta form, and later they will come in the vyakta state. When we take birth, we come in the vyakta form, that is the manifest form. And later when uh, there are partial annihilations and then full devastations which happen. So when partial annihilation happens, what happens when Lord Brahma sleeps? When he is sleeping during the night, during the partial devastation, what would happen? We can say all the jivas, they are just like in a sleeping state. How? What happens to us? There is partial annihilation, right? So we will also go into the body of Garbhodakshai Vishnu. And during the full annihilation, when that final pralay happens, we ultimately go back into Mahavishnu. So it doesn't mean that we do not exist. We are there, but we are in the manifest and unmanifest state. So more details are available in Srimad Bhagavatam. So if you would like to go through it, please refer that. So this is the law of conservation of energy and the verse number 2.28. Yeah, so verse number 2.29, it is basically known as the Ashtarya, amazing verse, you know. Yes, please volunteer to read this verse. Yes. Let's take new hands, please. Those who have not spoken yet. Yes, Jibon Krishna Prabhuji. Yes, please. We can't hear you, Prabhuji. Jibon Krishna Prabhuji. You're on mute.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Yes, please.
Acharyavat pashyati kasyadhanam. Acharyavat vadati tathava Acharya manna shinnoti. Sruttapananam veda na chaiva kasit.
You can continue reading it, Prabhuji.
Some,
Yes, please.
some look on the soul as amazing. Some describe him as amazing, and some hear of him as amazing. While others, even after hearing about him, cannot understand him at all.
Thank you, Prabhuji. So this is also known as amazing verse. Some people look on the soul. Pashyati. Pashyati is looking, right? Pashyati kashchidenam. Ashcharyavat pashyati. Then we have vadati. Ashcharyavat vadati. Some people look on the soul as amazing, and some vadati is describing, talking about. So describe him as amazing, and some hear chainam. This is here is Shrinoti. So Ashcharyavat Chainam Anyah Shrinoti. Anya people, other people, they hear of him as amazing. Shrutvapi. While others, even after talking, even after hearing about him, Shrutvapi, isn't it? Shravan. So Shrutvapi enam Vedana Cheva Kashchit. Still they cannot understand him at all. So that is why this verse is known as amazing, because it is talking about the amazing qualities of the soul. Like the same soul is present in the same soul is present in the elephant, the same soul is present in the germs, the same soul is present in the ant, even in the plants and the trees, and even in the human beings. So and people, they can't understand how this particular soul is, even though the size of the soul is 1/10,000 tip of that hair, and still it is giving existence, right? I mean, it has existence. So people, cannot understand it. That is the reason why this verse is also known as amazing verse. Yeah. What else do we have in this? Yeah. And the reason is because they are ignorant, and that is why they really cannot understand this. And not only that, there is a very important thing. Okay, so who is residing with the soul in our heart? Who is residing with the soul in our heart? Please raise your hand.
Bhagwan.
Yes, yes. Paramatma.
Paramatma.
Yes, Prabhuji. Where did the PPT go? Yeah. So it is the Paramatma, right? Yes. And how can we understand? Because people, they cannot understand what are the qualities of the soul, right? They cannot understand how it is possible. But it is only possible to understand only through disciplic. When we come in under the bona fide disciplic succession, if we try to hear it from the bona fide masters, right? Spiritual masters. Then it's not appearing. The slide is the slide appearing? Is it visible to
Yes,
everyone?
yes, visible.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, sure. Thanks. Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you. So yeah, we'll go to this slide. This is the slide. Yeah. So this is what has been explained, that it is very important for us, we should try to understand that we should not randomly go and read the scriptures or any kind of books just to understand the philosophy, because it should always happen under the proper disciplic succession. We should always undertake the guidance of these bona fide spiritual masters. And not only that, the reason is because they are the authorities, they have understood it directly from Lord Krishna himself. So there are four bona fide disciplic successions. I'm unable to switch on this camera for everyone. Is it appearing for everyone? Is it okay? Because when I click on the slide, it disappears, your faces. I'm not able
Yeah.
to see your uh, videos. Okay, no worries. So, okay, what are the which are the four disciplic successions? So we are basically the disciplic succession which we follow is Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya. Then there are other than Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya, there are three more, which is the one is Rudra Sampradaya, one is Kumar Sampradaya, and the other one is Shri Sampradaya. So in total, we have four disciplic successions which are bona fide. So, and they give the understanding and they help us to understand who is the absolute truth, who is Lord Shri Krishna himself. But yeah, these are the main four disciplic successions which are bona fide. We'll move further. Yeah, verse number 2.30. Yes, would you like to, would someone like to read this, please? Yes, Mataji, please read.
ते हि नित्यमवध्येयं देहे सर्वस्य भारतः तस्मात् सर्वाणि भूतानि तत्त्वं शोचितुमर्हसि. O descendant of Bharata, he who dwells in the body can never be slain. Therefore, he
Yeah.
need not crave for any living being.
Yes, so this is verse number 2.30, right? And not only that, when we go through verse number 29, please go through the last paragraph. Just before that, it is mentioned, how can we understand, as we covered, like we have to take the shelter of we have to take the guidance of the bona fide spiritual master, right? So they can only help us understand. Guru Sadhu Shastra is what we say, isn't it? So, but if somehow or other one is able to understand the subject matter of the soul, then one's life is successful. Then only our search for the absolute truth will be successful, right? That is a very beautiful verse. What is that? Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschid yatati siddhaya yatatam api siddhanam kaschin mam veti tatvatah. So this also helps us to understand that out of so many Manushyanam sahasreshu, out of so many hundreds, thousands of people, kaschid yatati siddhaya. So it is very difficult. Very few people will only try to attain me. And that is the conclusion of the verse. So it also mentions that it is only possible by the causeless mercy of the pure devotees and by no other way. It is only by the possible by the causeless mercy of the Lord Himself and only by the causeless mercy of His pure devotees. So yeah, because otherwise, and not only that, see, Bhagavad Gita is spoken by the greatest authority, Lord Shri Krishna, without being deviated by other theories. So we just now discussed, right? Voidism, impersonalism, all are these, even the theories of the material scientists, what they understand, right? Modern scientists. So we should always be, never be deviated by such theories or any kind of mental speculations, because that is harmful for our they are not going to help us with the perfection to achieve the perfection of our life, right? Yeah, so we'll go to verse number 30 as we just discussed. Let's move on to verse 30. Yeah, O descendant. So this is the conclusion of Jnana. So ultimately, Dehi Nityam Avadyoyam, Dehi Sarvasya Bharata. So this is what we have seen. He who dwells in the body, it can never be slain. He can never be slain because it is the soul who is dwelling, right? So and therefore there is no need to grieve for any person. So now what will happen from verse number 31? Now Lord Krishna has concluded this. Conclusion of Jnana is he who dwells in the body can never be slain, right? So all the entire understanding of the jnana, or that is the understanding and the properties or characteristics of the soul, and also the discussion based on for the body, it will be stopped by Lord Krishna because he has explained it, and now he will take Arjuna to another level. Okay, so the discussion, the understanding with respect to the understanding of the body and the soul is completed here. So that is why Lord Krishna is concluding it. The conclusion of Jnana is, O descendant of Bharat, he who dwells in the body, you should really understand this, that he can never be slain. And so you should not grieve for any living being. So now what will happen? He will take him to another level. But what Lord Krishna will do now, he won't increase the level, but what he would do, what he is going to tell is, what happened? Yeah. So this is the slide. Swadharma, would someone like to volunteer to read this, please? Yes, please. Mm. Please,
Hare
any new raised hands? Could you please,
Hare
yeah.
Krishna.
Could you please raise your hand? It becomes very difficult to know in case if you're speaking and not raising your hands. Could you please raise your hand? Yes, S. Archana Mataji. Yes, please read. Verse number 2.31.
स्वधर्ममभिचारेक्ष्य न विकम् न विकम्पितु मर्हसि
Arhasi.
धर्माधियुद्धाच्चे चेयोन्यत् क्षत्रियस्य न विद्यते.
Yeah, so what did we see? Finally, we saw that the soul is eternal and the body is temporary, right? We have also seen that uh, even though if we have also seen that the transformation is happening with respect to the body and the soul is eternal, it has the existence, it is eternal, it is immutable, it can neither be moistened by water, right, withered by the wind, everything, all the properties, characteristics, it is immutable, it can never be slain, right? So now verse number 31. So from 31st verse, Lord Krishna, what he is saying, okay, Arjuna, I have given you the jnana, right? With respect to the body and the soul. So now he is saying you should think from the material enjoyment perspective. Okay. So what you are going to gain. So that particular understanding, that particular discussion is going to start from verse number 31. So swadharmam api chavekshya. Swadharma. So what Krishna is telling Arjuna, that it is your duty as a Kshatriya. As a Kshatriya, it is your duty to fight. You cannot leave it, because if you won't fight, then you are going to incur sin. So if you have, there is no better engagement for you than fighting on religious principles. And so you should not hesitate. I've already given you the understanding, right, of the soul, body and the soul. So that particular discussion has happened. And based on that discussion, at least now you understand that even though if you are thinking that, but it is your duty as a Kshatriya that you should fight. Yes. So, what are the duties of a Kshatriya? Please go to verse number 31 and try to identify what are the duties of a Kshatriya. Please check and raise your hands, please. Okay, yes. Let's. Yes, we'll take one point from everyone. Okay. So, Shachi Nandan, Prem Prabhuji. Yes, please, Prabhuji. 1 point, please. What are the duties of a Kshatriya?
To protect the health and wealth of the society.
Yes, Haribol. Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you. Yes, Chandelier Rishi, Prabhuji.
Administration.
Yes, administration is one of them. Yes, thank you, Prabhuji. And you can also refer verse number 32. You will find the duties there as well. Yeah, administration is one of them. Yes, Murari Chaitanya Prabhuji. Yes, please.
Trained for killing in the forest.
Sorry, what is that, Prabhuji?
It gives a protection from harm and the trained for killing in the forest. The train
Yes,
is called.
Prabhuji. They are supposed to, I mean, protect the citizens, basically, yes. Save them from harm. So, what we understand from this is, what is, okay. So, I'll just, yeah. So, is my screen visible to everyone? Kshatriya's first point, is it visible, Prabhuji?
No.
Now, I don't know, the screen went away actually. I'm trying to bring it back. I'll stop sharing and again I'll try. I don't know what is wrong. Okay. Yes. So is it visible now?
Yes, Mataji.
Yes,
Yeah,
Mataji.
okay. Thank you. Thank you. So yeah, the duties of a Kshatriya, right? So Kshatriyas, they are never meant for accepting the order of sannyas directly. So why? The reason being, Kshatriyas, they always work under the mode of passion, right? And one of the qualities of the mode of passion people is that they are supposed to be violent, right? They have that particular quality because of the passionate nature. And Kshatriyas are violent by nature, so they cannot become suddenly they cannot become non-violent, right? They cannot take the sannyasa. Now, for example, if Arjuna is saying, okay, I'll live a secluded life, I'll go to the forest, I'll live a secluded life, I don't want to fight a war. What will happen if he will see some kind of injustice happening in the forest? Again, he's going to go and fight with that particular person, right? Because that is in his blood. He is a Kshatriya by Guna, right? Guna Karma Vibhagashaha. So that has to happen. So that is the reason. And the primary, according to Varnashram Dharma, the main duty of a Kshatriya is to protect, isn't it? To protect the citizens. So that is the duty. So that is another reason. And if we will not perform our duties according to the Varnashram Dharma, then we are going to incur sin also, right? So, what we see is the duty of a Kshatriya is to protect the citizens from all difficulties, apply violence for law and order. That is the main reason. And conquer all the soldiers of inimical kings. I mean, all the enemies, they have to go and fight a war with them. And they have to rule the world with religious principles. That is the reason why we have seen in olden times, all the kings, they used to be Raj Rishis and they used to take guidance from all the brahmanas, isn't it?
Yes.
So who the priests and everybody who were there, even in Ramayana or in Mahabharata, we have seen like all the rishis, they used to give them guidance, advice, because they are going to tell them according to what is correct according to the religious principles or the Vedic scriptures, Shastras, and that is the way they used to conquer. And this is one of the reasons. And Kshatriyas, they're never meant, yeah. So this we have seen, like they're never meant for accepting the order of sannyasa or renunciation. And if we talk about sacrificing animals, like we cannot say that sacrificing animals is right. No, because the animal in olden times, this does not justify if a person is a Kshatriya, if he's killing it, this does not justify violence. This we have covered, right, in the last class. sacrificing animals is not correct. But in olden times, when it used to happen, the animal that is being sacrificed on the sacrificial altar, that animal used to get a human life. And not only that, he doesn't have to go through the entire gradual evolutionary process of his birth, right? Like I'll take an example. And the Brahmanas who were chanting the mantras, who were performing these sacrifices, even they used to attain the heavenly planets. And Kshatriyas also, those Kshatriyas who die performing their duty, performing the prescribed duty in the battlefield, in case if they are killed, if they die, then they also attain heavenly planets. So that is this is one of the reasons. Like do not justify violence, but these days we do not have such pure brahmanas. We do not have such kind of mantras that could be chanted. Earlier you remember we have seen that the fire can be ignited from the that Havan Kund, even just by chanting mantras. They were so pure. The Brahmanas were so pure, isn't it? It's we are like in a full contaminated state. We cannot even go for it. And people, they just go for their own sense gratification and they justify violence, which is wrong, isn't it? And what happens in case if we kill any animal? So usually what happens? Okay, what will happen? Suppose an animal is there, or if an animal has 10 days of life, what will happen if he's killed in within 5 days? What will happen to that particular animal? Yes, please. What do you feel? What do you think? Like, uh, what will happen to that animal if he's killed and he has 5 days of lifespan? What happens to that particular animal?
Just to take birth again. And
Yes, he will take birth again. How? Will he move to the another this thing?
no, same.
Yes, exactly. Thank you, Prabhuji. So what happens is if any particular animal or any living entity for that matter, if any living entity is killed and their lifespan is remaining, the duration of their lifespan is remaining, then they have to take birth again in that particular species itself. First, they have to complete that entire cycle, then only they can move ahead, for another species of life. So in the gradual evolutionary process of cycle, ultimately they will go, but first they have to complete this also. And that is why it is said, we understand there are so many cases of suicide, those who take suicide, what happens in case if there is some lifespan planned for them? It is something, it is a sin, if people really commit suicide, what happens? They have to continue their journey. There will be so much of pain and everything is there. They have, but they do not have a material body to express it now, and they even they have desires, right? They had failed desires, that is why they had to take such steps, whatever could be the reason. But what I mean is they have to continue their journey in that particular subtle body till the time their duration of life is set. Once they complete that, then only their decision could be taken. Then only their journey continues later. So what is being mentioned is the best thing to help everyone, is by chanting holy name of the Lord, the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. So there is a very beautiful in one of the verses it is mentioned that uh, a person who is into Krishna consciousness, they do not have any obligations or the duties to be, they do not have any kind of obligations, they do not have any kind of debt to six kind of people like the sages, forefathers, to the living beings, our relatives and neighbors, even to the demigods, because they have taken the shelter of Mukunda, who is the giver of liberation, Mukti Pradata. So this has been mentioned in one of the verses. We'll cover this later. Yeah, so this has been discussed. So 2.31, yes. And the other thing is, yeah, and the
It's
other
mentioned in
thing is, there are
2.39,
yeah, in later verses it is there, yes, probably. So there is one more thing, one ashram dharma, we have discussed this also, that there are two kinds of dharmas we have seen. Swadharma. So when we talk about the Swadharma, on the bodily platform, we are talking about the Varnashram dharma. So when we are on the bodily platform, we have the duties, prescribed duties to be followed. But when we are on the spiritual platform, our dharma is parodharma. It changes into our, what is the parodharma? To serve and love God, right? So it changes to our transcendental, because that is what is going to give us complete happiness. And that is what the soul is also desiring, right? We cannot we have to engage our soul in the right direction, because the desires cannot be stopped, but they can just be changed. Param drishtva nivartate. Yeah, we'll be seeing that also later. So yeah, so when we saw the initial discussion, that was with respect to the compassion, right? So here it is talking about the Krishna defeats the Arjuna's arguments of sinful reactions. Let's see this now. Karma Kanda. So yeah, so in case if I go through this, Swarga Dwaram Apavritam. So Bhagavad Gita 2.32. So now we are basically talking, when we are talking about this enjoyments, we are talking from the Karma Kanda perspective. Like what are the gains, benefits you're going to get, right? From so what is Karma Kanda? That is regulated sense gratification. Okay. So what Krishna is telling, okay, Arjuna, understand that happy are the Kshatriyas to whom such fighting opportunities come unsought, opening for them the doors of the heavenly planets. So this we have discussed, in which we have seen that uh, this is a dharma yuddha, and it is not easy to get such type of wars happening, because it is only people who are kshatriyas. Sometimes it happens they would have, like, even in armies we see, like, people could have completed their entire tenure of life and they would have retired without even going for any single war, even before without fighting any war, right? But in case if you get such kind of opportunities, like we have seen how it is how it happened recently, right? I just don't want to name it, but we understand that when such opportunities happening, which are with respect to the dharma yuddha, wherein some injustice is happening, then the warriors or the soldiers who die on the battlefield on the front, they attain heavenly planets. They directly go to the heavenly planets. So that is what is being mentioned here. And in case if you want to, what will happen? So this is karma kanda, right? Yeah. Would someone like to volunteer to read this verse, please? Yes, please. Yes, Harshita Mataji, please continue. It goes
अथ
off.
चेत्
Yes,
अथ
please,
अथ
Mataji.
त्वमिमं धर्म्यं सङ्ग्रामं न करिष्यसि ततः स्वधर्मं कीर्तिं च हित्वा पापमवाप्स्यसि. If, however, you do not perform your religious duty of fighting, then you will certainly incur sins for neglecting your duties and thus lose your reputation as a fighter.
Yes, thank you, Mataji. So what we have seen here is that when we talk about this karma kanda, right? Atha chetvam imam. So this is hitva papam avapsyasi. So what you are going to attain, you are going to incur sin, because then you will not be performing your duty. And what is your duty? Your duty is to fight as a kshatriya, right? So that is your duty. I'm sorry, I'm not able to see your videos, when I just go to the presentation. Is it becoming, is it visible to you?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay,
Yes,
Yes, yes.
is the
We are able to
presentation
see you.
visible?
yes.
But
Yes,
Prabhuji,
yes,
is the
Mataji.
presentation is visible to you?
Yes, yes, Mataji. And even your display,
Okay,
your display.
sure. Okay, thank you, Prabhuji. So yeah, I'll continue. So what is happening here? What we see is in verse number 33. Now, see, it says, Tata Swadharmam Kirtim Cha. So, in case if you won't file, then you are going to incur sin, because you will also lose your reputation as a fighter. This we'll cover. So it is saying, now Krishna is talking about kirtim. So first, what did he say in verse number 32? Swadharma. Carry out your duty, right? Because when you will do so, you are going to open the doors of the heavenly planets. So actually, he's just telling, he did not even say ki, perform your duty. He's saying only those Kshatriyas are happy. He's talking from the material perspective, like what is going to give you happiness. Okay. So what he's saying is, though it is going to open the doors of the heavenly planets. And so verse number 33, now he will talk about Kirtim. So what it is going to do, you will incur sin, and you are going to lose your reputation as a fighter. So this is talking about the sin, and the next slide is talking about the fighter. And what will happen, we know in verse number 33 itself, that how he has received a very famous astra from Shivji. Which one was that? What did he receive?
Pashupata Astra.
Pashupati Astra. Yes, yes. Thank you, Mataji. So we understand that he has received the Pashupati Astra also. He also received a benediction in a weapon from Dronacharya, his teacher, which can kill his own teacher. Not only that, we understand for some time when they were on exile, he even went to Svargaloka, right? And he received some important weapons from there as well. So this is what we have understood. And so Kirtim cha hitva papam avapsyasi. So, and thus you will lose your reputation as a fighter. So, what two things you're going to get? There will be a kirti, right? You will lose your reputation. And what is going to help? You are going to get sin. And then, verse number 34. When we move to verse number 34, please read this word. Please read this purport. Would someone like to volunteer, please? Let me just see. Yes, Mataji, please give me a minute. I want others also to volunteer. Please volunteer, please. This has to be an interactive session. I just wish I'm not asking questions. So, yes, Vinodhar Prabhuji, Hare Krishna. Yes, please, Prabhuji. Yes. Yes, please read, Prabhuji. We are not able to hear you, Prabhuji.
No, I was muted. If he
Okay,
abandoned
yes.
the battle, not only would he neglect his specific duty as a Kshatriya, but he would lose all his fame and good name and thus prepare his royal road to hell. In other words, he would go to hell not by fighting, but by withdrawing from battle.
Yes, thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. So what is happening is, now see, what he is doing is, in case he won't fight, then he is neglecting his duties as a Kshatriya, because he's a Kshatriya. It is his prime duty. It is his prescribed duty to fight. If he won't fight, he would lose all his fame and good name. So what Krishna is telling him, from the material perspective, what will happen to him? He's going to lose all his reputation, and thus he will prepare his royal road to hell. This means that he's a Kshatriya. He is not doing his prescribed duty, and thus he is going to incur sin. And when he is going to incur sin, he has to go to hellish planets, right? So, in other words, he would go to hell not by fighting but by withdrawing from the battle. And once this is done, verse number 34 is talking about akirtim chapi bhutani. See, akirtim. So people will always speak of your infamy, and for a respectable person, dishonor is worse than death, the final judgment of the Lord. There's a very beautiful thing on this. I have from one of the teachers, they have mentioned this. I'm I cannot see your videos. I'm really sorry. That is why I just came on this to view your. Okay. So I hope I'm able to see you now. So see, verse number 34. What happens in case if whenever some mishap happens with anyone? What is our reaction? What happens? How do we get to know about it? What happens in case this is an open discussion? So VG 2.34, what happens, we start gossiping, right? We start doing prajalpa, we start gossiping. And not only that, the key thing what here is, we try to understand that particular person according to the action he has taken, not with respect to the intention he has, isn't it? That is what happens. The person's intention could be genuine, right? We do not know. We do not know. Arjuna. We understand, right? From this scenario, Arjuna is so compassionate. He's so kind-hearted. But everyone won't think, okay, he's leaving the battle because he's feeling compassionate. But what others will think? They will think that no, he is quitting the battle, isn't it? So that is what happens, right? Am I right? Please respond.
Yes, Mataji.
Yes, true. Thank you. I thought, yeah. Okay, thank you, thank you. So this is what I meant is, what happens, we tag people, we give some kind of attributes to them. Like I'll take some examples, like this is with respect to verse number 34, 35, and 36 also. Like what happens if a person is sleeping for a long time, we say, okay, he's lazy. But in case if we are sleeping, it would be, oh, we are tired, we are feeling tired. So we should never try to attribute some kind of qualities or characteristics. We shouldn't map or tag people with respect to such things, not even in our minds, because ultimately what our purpose is, we want to attain some kind of goodness, not even goodness, we want to attain Shuddha Sattva. We want to elevate ourselves. We are in such situations that we have, we do not know people's intentions, what is the reason behind doing some kind of karma, right? But what we do is we try to think about that particular situation, isn't it? So that is why, since we do not understand everyone's intention, it is not our right to go and know about it. So the best thing is, why to have any kind of bondage, not even through our manasa vacha karmana, right? So why to bring it to the vacha stage? The best thing is not to even to have it at the manasa stage also, isn't it? So yeah, has been, and not only that, this is going to bring a bad name even for Krishna in this particular verse number 34. I'll move on to the next verse. Yes, so people will always speak of your infamy, and for a respectable person, dishonor is worse than death. What could be more painful for you? Because he's a Kshatriya, and for Kshatriya, dishonor is worse, right? So, what could be more painful? What Krishna is saying, he's trying to do the comparisons. We have learned degrees, right? Superlative, comparative, isn't it? We know that, right? So what we have seen here is nothing could be more painful to Arjuna, because he's a Kshatriya, and for a Kshatriya, dishonor is worse than death. Yeah, would someone like to volunteer to read this one, please? Yes, please.
Shall I read?
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Yes,
अतो
please.
वा प्राप्यसि स्वर्गं जित्वा वा मोक्षयसे महीं तस्माद् उत्तिष्ठ कौन्तेय युद्धाय कृत निश्चयः. Karmakanda 2.31 to 37. O son of Kunti, either you will be killed on the battlefield and attain the heavenly planets, or you will conquer and enjoy the earthly kingdom. Therefore, get up with determination and fight.
Yes, thank you, Prabhuji. So now what is being stated here is verse number 37. If we go to verse number 37, Hato va prapsyasi swargam. So what he is going to get, Hata is being killed. So in case if he's killed, he is going to attain Swarga. Jitva va bhoksha se mahim. And if he is, what is it that he is going to gain? Jitva is conquering. In case if he wins, So what he is going to enjoy? He is going to enjoy the world, like the earthly kingdom he is going to get. And that is why, in both the ways, he has a win-win situation. So what either he is going to attain the heavenly planets, or in case if he wins, then he is going to attain the earthly kingdom. So he should get up with determination and fight. I'll move to the next slide. Yeah. See, so this is what Lord Krishna is telling Arjuna. See, in case if you will win, you're going to enjoy the earthly kingdom. And in case if you lose, anyways, you will go to heavenly planets and you will attain the heavenly planets. So this is a small, just quick, just for a recap, I just tried putting in with respect to verse number 31 to 38, a few pointers that could help us in understanding this. So what we have here is, if you could see, that Arjuna has to fight. It is his duty as a Kshatriya to fight. Now, if Arjuna fights and wins, he is going to enjoy earthly kingdoms, right? And if he dies, he will be elevated to heavenly planets. Now, if he says, no, I don't want to fight. If he does not fight, obviously he is going to incur sin. And in case if he will incur sin, this means that he has to go and he has to, because of the reactions, he has to go to the hellish planets, right?
Yes.
If Arjuna does not fight, then he is also going to lose his reputation as a fighter. People will talk about people will call him with bad names. They will talk about his entire reputation will go for a toss, isn't it? Whatever name he has acquired in so many years in his life, everything will go for a toss. So he's going to attain infamy, and for a respectable person, dishonor is worse than death. And ultimately, he'll be preparing his royal road to hell. And not only that, generals, they will think he did not leave out of compassion for us, right? But he left because out of fear. Because everyone's perception is based on the action that we take, isn't it? As we discussed, not on the intention. So what is happening? Everyone is going to think, okay, you have left out of fear. They do not know your intention. What is your intention behind this particular action? And enemies, they're going to scorn your ability. They will ridicule you. They will call you with bad names. So it is better to die. So when Krishna says better to die, because it will at least save you from ill fame of misusing my friendship. Now Krishna is Arjuna's friend, his eternal associate. Krishna agreed to be his charioteer, isn't it? And it is going to bring bad name even to Lord Krishna, isn't it? Because they have been such close friends, eternal associate also. So he is telling him clear, straightforward that it is better, and it will also help you from losing your prestige in the society if you will die, isn't it? And that is why now, verse number 38, Lord Krishna says, do not think about now. Ultimately, till now, this entire Karma Kanda discussion, the discussion that is happening from the gains, material gains perspective, material gains, material losses, or Karma Kanda perspective, it will be elevated to another level now from verse number 38. So in verse 38, Lord Krishna is telling Arjuna, no, now you have to fight. Just do not think about any kind of victory or any losses, any kind of benefits, gains, but you should fight because it is your duty. And in case if you will perform your duty, you will never incur any sin. So this is with respect to the verses 31 to 38. I'll move on to the next slide. Yes, Krishna defeats Arjuna's arguments. So compassion, we have seen with respect to compassion, we have seen the verses between 11 to 30. So the jnana has been given, and enjoyment and sinful reactions. When he was saying no enjoyment, then Krishna told him, oh, you're going to get so much of enjoyment, material happiness you will get, you will enjoy the kingdom. Even if you will lose, you will have you will attain heavenly planets. So enjoyment is there. And sinful reactions, you will get the sinful reactions if you won't fight, right? So from Karma Kanda perspective, this also we have seen. Yes, would someone like to volunteer to read this, please? Both ways you have to fight. Yes, please. Please volunteer.
Hare Krishna. In both ways, we
Yes.
have to fight. Both ways, we have to fight. Krishna is trying to put Arjuna in the dilemma. This way or that way. You must have to fight. If you think that you are not in bodily concept of life, then it is my order. You must fight. If you think that you are in bodily concept of life, then you are a Kshatriya. You must fight. Both ways we have to fight. This is Krishna's conclusion. Bhagavad-gita 2.31, London, September 1st, 1973.
All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Srila
Yeah,
Prabhupada.
so that is why, yeah, thank you. So Krishna is trying to put Arjuna in the dilemma. So now you must fight. Both ways you have to fight. The conclusion has also been given by Krishna. Yeah, so now what will happen now? Krishna will minimize Karma Kanda and he will take the discussion to another level now. So now he is going to elevate from Karma Kanda to another level wherein we are going to talk about Karma Yoga. So let's, yeah, please go through this verse. I mean, could you please raise your hand to read this verse? Yes, Harshita Mataji. Yes, please, Mataji. Please.
यामिमां पुष्पितां वाचं प्रवदन्त्य विपश्चितः वेदवादरताः पार्थ नान्यदस्तीति वादिनः. I have to speak the second one also, right? Kamatmana Mataji.
No, no, Mataji, no. Mataji, whatever is available in this slide, that's that much.
Sorry, Mataji, I refer to the book. I'm so sorry.
No
Men
worries,
of
no
small
worries.
knowledge, men of small knowledge are very much attached to the flowery words of the Vedas, which recommend various fruitive activities for elevation to heavenly planets, resultant good worth, power, and so forth. Bhagavad Gita 2.4. Hare Krishna.
Yes, thank you, Mataji. So basically, I'm just going to the previous verse also. Just give me a minute. Yeah, so yeah, okay. Let's take this. So now what is happening when we will go to verse number 38? Let's go to verse number 38 once, please, because that will help you to understand this context, this verse which we read recently just now, 42. So please go to verse number 38. Yeah, okay, I can see you all now. So in verse number 38, when we are talking about the discussion, it says that now you don't consider uh, you have to fight. Do not consider any kind of happiness or distress, loss or gain, victory or defeat. So now, what Lord Krishna is telling Arjuna, Krishna is saying, okay, don't think about any kind of benefits from this particular activity, action that you are performing. So in Karma Kanda, the person is attached to the result of the activity. So now Krishna is saying, don't think that, okay, this is what I'm going to gain out of it. No, don't think about any kind of benefits, but just do it for the sake of duty, isn't it? Because it is your prescribed duty. So when we are doing something with respect to our own sense gratification, when we are attached to the result of or the fruits of that activity, it is known as karma kanda. Because we want to enjoy the fruit, right? We want to enjoy the result. It could be in a subtle form also. It could be happiness, distress, anything, even if it is not in the monetary terms or anything which is not even visible. So it even in the subtle way we enjoy. So don't think from that perspective, but do the activity and don't get attached to the result. So when we talk about doing the activity and not attaching ourselves to the result, then you will be elevated to a level of jnana, right? Here I'm not talking about the yoga for now. So there are two ways. So one is the jnana and the other is bhakti yoga, or the bhakti basically, or the karma yoga. We'll come to that later. So now we are talking about buddhi yoga. This is the term which is being used as a synonym for karma yoga here in this chapter. Buddhi yoga or nishkam karma yoga or karma yoga. So now Lord Krishna is telling Arjuna, instead of thinking about the being attached to the result, don't get attached to the result. Just perform your duty. Okay, that is known as karma yoga. In the sense you offer that particular result to me. When we are detached to the result of the activity and we offer it to the Lord, then it is known as yoga, because yoga means in connection with Lord, right? So then your karma will become into as karma yoga, and then ultimately you will elevate. So we are elevating from karma kanda to karma yoga, isn't it? So we have seen jnana. There was jnana that was given earlier, then the karma kanda section 31 to 37. So 11 to 30 was the jnana part. Then 31 to 38, basically 37 was 31 to 37 was karma kanda, right? Now we are saying karma yoga. So this basically that verse number 38 is what talks about that. He who acts, please go through this verse. Sixth line. He who acts for his own sense gratification, either in goodness or in passion, is subject to the reactions, right? Either it is punya or papa, one has to, one is going to get the reactions, right? And they have to completely, that bondage is there. So, but he who has completely surrendered himself in the activities of Krishna consciousness is no longer obliged to anyone, nor is he a debtor to anyone, as one is in the ordinary course of activities. Yes. So this is the verse basically which talks about anyone who has completely surrendered unto Krishna, Mukunda, giving up all the other duties, is no longer a debtor, and neither he is obliged to anyone. We are obliged to anyone. We have debts, right? To the demigods, sages, people in general, nor kinsmen, humanity, no forefathers. In many times, I just thought of this, that came in my memory, like we have seen in the astrology also, there are different kinds of rin, Guru rin, Vrihaspati, I mean, some kind of things are there, then Pitra rin is there, isn't it? So why is it there? So there have been some certain debtors, certain debts that we were unable to fulfill in our previous lives, right? So they get carried forward in the horoscopes. So yeah, but people who is basically under the direct protection of the Lord Himself, Krishna, then they do not have any kind of obligations to anyone. So this verse basically helps us to understand this, that how we are talking about the karma kanda. This karma kanda, we are taking it to another level of karma yoga. And why are we calling it as Buddhi Yoga? Because we are doing the karma with the intelligence. Then what is that intelligence or jnana? That I am not this body but the soul. This is the jnana. So I am doing the karma with this jnana, and that is why it is known as Karma Yoga or Buddhi Yoga. Okay, no? So this has been explained in this verse. And verse number 39, this we just covered, basically talks about the theories, the theories, the philosophies that were given by atheist Kapila, and we have Kapil Muni, Mata Devhuti's son, isn't it? Kapil Muni. That is the theory which is correct. We do not follow atheist Kapil's theory, isn't it? So the philosophies basically, and he is incarnation of Lord himself, right? And it has been mentioned that how we are eternal individuals. We have covered this, that we are part and parcel of Krishna. And not only that, we are part and eternal, fragmental part and parcel of Krishna. Mame Vamsho Jiva Loke. Isn't it? Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. And not only that, our duty is to serve Lord Krishna, isn't it? Like Jivira Swarup hai Krishnera Nitya Dasa. So this is the way we understand this. And now, when we have seen Krishna minimizes Karma Kanda, so now the discussion will be elevated to a further level known as Karma Yoga. So that is why we wanted to cover verse number 38, because 38 is basically taking the discussion a bit high, level, one level high. So now we will be able to understand when we go to verse this 42, men of small knowledge of who are very much attached to the flowery words of the Vedas. So before this, actually, there are two activities, verse number 41 and 40, very important, because 41, 42 verse is based on verse 41. So we'll go through that particular activity. And we will cover this a little later. Let's cover the exercise first. So there are two exercises actually. One is read Bhagavad Gita verses 45 and 46. This, yeah, verse number 45 and 46. Okay, let me tell. This is basically talking about the Karma Kanda, 45 and 46 verse, and verse 42 we will cover later. And discuss the relevance of the Karma Kanda division of the Vedas in the practice of Krishna consciousness. Like, if you will go through verse number 45 and 46, so what do you understand with respect to Karma Kanda activities, and how is Krishna consciousness is also helping you to attain this? Like, how is it really relevant also, Karma Kanda division, right? In the practice of Krishna consciousness, what level, how is it relevant? What is it that we are covering out of this? Isn't it? Is it visible, the presentation? It goes away. I don't know. Yeah. Yes, please. So we'll make the breakout rooms. How many participants are there today? 15, right? Okay. So we have 14 participants. So for this particular discussion, we will take 2 minutes each. And let's have, how many are there? 14 people, right? So we can have three people in one group. In different breakout rooms, because we want everyone to participate, and please go through this and discuss it, and within 2 minutes, we after 2 minutes you can just come and you can discuss all the points. You can identify one leader from your group, and then later, if you feel that a few more points have to be added by any more participants, that could also be done. You can just raise your hand and we'll take that. Okay. I'll just prepare the breakout rooms. Please give me a minute. I'll stop sharing. After that, I'll share, because I'm facing some challenges with this today. I'm making the breakout rooms. So we have 14 people, right? Yes. So we can take 2 minutes, okay? and then, or you can take 3 minutes, but the discussion also has to happen. So 2 minutes is fine. Yes, please join. Thank you. I request everyone to participate, please, and join the rooms. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Patri, there is some disconnect here. So, what we have to discuss about the chapter, verse number 45 and
Yes,
47.
yes, please.
Sorry, some disturbance in the network.
Okay. Prabhuji, we'll wait for everyone so that everyone can participate and they can also get the
Now, what is the
advantage of.
question like? What is the question like?
Okay, I'll just share that. Just give me a minute. The screen is not being shared. The question is, read the Bhagavad Gita, verse 2.45, 45 and 46, 45 and 46, and
Okay.
discuss the relevance of the Karma Kanda division of the Vedas in the practice of Krishna consciousness, and what is basically Karma Kanda, and how you can distinguish it with respect to Krishna consciousness, and how does Krishna consciousness help you to attain that. I mean, obviously, it's different because, but is it really relevant in the practice of Krishna consciousness? Whether how relevant it is with respect to Krishna consciousness, Prabhuji? What is basically covered as a part of Karma Kanda, and how is it really whether it is really relevant in Krishna consciousness or not? That way, Prabhuji.
That's only one question. You said two other questions. That's a little confusing.
The practices, yeah,
Whether
because
it's
it will
relevant,
cover, yeah.
relevance is
Oh,
one
it's.
thing. What other
I'm
two?
sorry. My screen is not shared, is it?
Yeah, that's what.
I'm sorry. Screen should get shared,
Discuss the.
Yes, Prabhuji. So this is the question. Is it visible?
Yeah, now it's visible.
Yeah.
Discuss the
Yeah,
relevant karma contribution.
and how the practice is authorized from Vedic point of view.
Okay, let the screen be on like this.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Maybe you can give some more time. I guess
Okay,
nobody has
sure,
seen the
no
slide.
worries.
Nobody has seen the
Okay.
slide, I think.
No worries, Prabhuji. It's okay. Please continue. Okay, yeah, we can continue, Prabhuji. I'm sorry, I did not see when I was going through the verse. Okay, yeah, sure. Yes, sir. Yes, please. Yes, Harshita Mataji, yes. Maybe, Mataji, you can cover a few points from the group. Mataji, this is which
Yes,
group?
Mataji.
Group number?
I don't know the group number, Mataji.
No worries, no worries. Mataji, that's okay. No, that's fine. Yeah, so I'll go
Okay.
to the breakout rooms after this. Yeah. So we should have how many? We have 5 groups, so we should have at least 5 people should be raising hands, Has everyone come back? Yes, in the meantime, we'll take Harshita Mataji. Yes, please. Mataji, you can cover a few points so that others can also add to it.
Yes,
Yes,
Mataji.
please.
So the first point was discuss the relevance of the Karam Kanda division. So text 45, what we understand is the basic concept of Karam Kanda is that all material activities involve an action and reaction in the rules of material nature. So that is the basic concept of Karam Kanda, and they are meant for fruitive results, which ultimately leads to bondage and entanglement. But this is the my understanding, Mataji. So this is the base from where the ultimate objective is to gradually uplift towards moving into Nishkam Karma. That is the main philosophy. So we start at a Karam Kanda level, but ultimately, gradually, we have to reach to a self-realization stage or to the next level of doing a Nishkam Karma. So also here it was mentioned, there was one example also which was mentioned that as long as the material body exists, there are actions and reactions in the material modes. And one has to learn to tolerate them like happiness and distress, etc. So that was on text 45, Mataji. And the second part that you have asked, how are the practices of ISKCON authorized from Vedic point of view? So here in text 46, it is mentioned very clearly that since the living entities are parts and parcel of Krishna, therefore revival of Krishna consciousness by the individual living entity is the highest perfectional stage of Vedic knowledge. And this is the base for ISKCON philosophy, Mataji, wherein, like somebody who is chanting the holy name, it is also mentioned that, if you're from a dog eater family, but still you will have a higher position because you're chanting the holy name, and you would have reached to this level by taking lot of holy tips in the previous births and did a lot of pious activity which made you reach to this level. This is my understanding.
Thank you, Mataji. Yeah, that's right. Mataji, here, Nishkam Karma, ultimately our purpose is when we talk about Nishkam Karma Yoga, we have to reach the Bhakti Yoga level, the topmost. For now, because you're going to get these words again and again in different chapters, but for now, what is being meant is Karma Yoga only. So that understanding has to be there that we are attached to the work, the kind of work we are doing, but we are trying to detach ourselves to the result or the fruits of that particular activity. Yeah. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Yes, Akash Prabhuji, Hare Krishna. And Pranam.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandatanam.
Hare Krishna.
Mataji, the 45th verse, as Harshita Mataji already says, that Karma Kand is the basis, actually. In the middle of the purport, Srila Prabhupada says that all the living entities in this material world are struggling very hard for existence. That is why, to fulfill their desire, as 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 well as to elevate further, Lord has very mercifully given this Vedic literature, Vedic wisdom, so that they can understand how to live and get rid of material entanglement. They will be channelized. And then
Yes.
further in the Upanishads, Prabhupada says that the differentiation of soul and body will be known. And then that is the mark of beginning of a transcendental life, which
Correct. Yes.
culminates in the 46th verse, where Srila Prabhupada marks in the purport that the best purpose of Vedic culture is by chanting of the holy names. That even if one don't know the Vedanta philosophy, simply by chanting of the holy names, he can attain the same purpose. Yes,
Yes.
Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Yes. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Yes, Prabhu. Thank you. Yes. Any more participants, please, from the other groups? Yes, please. Okay. We had Jiban Krishna Chaitanya Prabhuji and Shandila Rishi Prabhuji and Krishna Kumar Prabhuji and Ras Sagar and Vinodhar
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna.
Ras Sagar Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare
So
Krishna.
yeah, you can share who. Yeah, Shandila Rishi Prabhuji. Hanji. Yes, please.
Hare Krishna.
Actually, Karma Kanta, which doesn't have much relevance these days because the rituals which are mentioned in the Vedic literatures, which cannot be performed, we don't have that kind of a facility. We don't have proper brahmanas and the rituals cannot be done. But even then,
Yeah.
the spirit of Karma Kanda is there among all of us because we are not on the level of, even though we are devotees, we are not on the pure platform. So whatever we do, we want to have, we want to see what is in for us and what is, like we want to offer something to Krishna because what we like, we offer. We don't see that, what Krishna likes. It starts like
But
that.
then Prabhuji, yeah, I agree. But then Prabhuji, we are not in Karma Kanda, but we are into Karma Yoga because Krishna is in the center, right? In Karma
Yeah.
Kanda, we are only thinking about our benefits, our enjoyment. But here, even though I understand, we are not at the highest level of Bhakti Yoga.
But still,
So
we are not
we are in
fully
Karma
thinking
Mishra
about.
Bhakti.
We are not fully thinking
That's
about
right.
Krishna's satisfaction, right? But that's the beginning.
Yes.
We have to start. We are
Correct.
started, and gradually we elevate ourselves to pure bhakti. So that
Correct.
relevance is there in that way in the Krishna consciousness movement.
Correct. Because, it is mentioned, and as Mataji and Prabhuji also mentioned, chanting of holy name of the Lord. See, the purpose is the highest perfection. How can we attain? That is the purpose of the Vedas. Why we follow the Karma Kanda also, right? But it is already mentioned. We know, Lord says, Sarvasya cham hridi sannivishto, mattah smritir jnanam apohanam cha, vedesha cha sarveraham eva vedyo, vedanta krit ved eva chaham. I am the compiler of the Vedanta philosophy as Ved Vyas. Ved Vyas is Ved Vyasji is the empowered incarnation, right? Shakti Vesh avatar of Lord Krishna himself. So he is the compiler of the Vedanta philosophy. He is the one who is to be known by the Vedas. And the purpose of all the Upanishads or the Karma Kanda, as we mentioned, as we discussed, so the purpose is also to understand Lord Krishna only. And when we say yes, I agree that we are not pure enough because we are not the pure devotees. We are just trying to offer the results. We are trying to bring Krishna in the center so that at least we are gradually elevating, we are purifying.
The
But then this doesn't mean that we are on the Karma Kanda state. We
is
are in the
gradual
Bhakti.
elevation. It's gradual elevation, but
Yes, yes.
in Krishna consciousness, we at the present moment there is no such thing, right, as a karma kanda, which is cannot be
Exactly.
practiced.
Hari bol. Yeah, yes, Prabhuji, Hari bol. So there is a very beautiful analogy given, like all the purposes which are served by a small well, like in case if we go with respect to any kind of philosophies or anything, Instead of doing so, why can't we just, the best thing is chant the holy name of the Lord. So everything can be at once be served by a great reservoir of water, because ultimately everything can be attained by the chanting of the holy name of the Lord. But the devotee, he doesn't wish for anything, right? A devotee only wishes to serve the Lord in whichever state, in whichever situation, in whichever condition a devotee is in. So that is these are the practices of ISKCON, because they are authorized from Vedic point of view, because they help us with respect to attaining the highest perfection of life, which is ultimately the purpose of the purpose which has been mentioned as a part of the Upanishads also, right? Athato Brahma Jigyasa, we start with that. So we inquiring about the absolute truth. And ultimately, it's very easy. Srila Prabhupada, the way he has given and all our acharyas, it's a blessing for us. It's very difficult otherwise to understand. And they have made it so easy. One cannot, Bhakti Yoga is an elevator for us. Otherwise, people, they gradually take, when we talk about Karma Kanda, Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Dhyana Yoga, this is a ladder, right? Instead of going with respect to the ladder, we are just taking an elevator. Just by the mercy of all our acharyas and by the mercy and blessings of Srila Prabhupada and all the entire Guru Parampara. Yeah, so this is the ultimate purpose also that has been mentioned there. Yes, thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you, everyone. Hare Krishna. I'll move to the next one. We won't cover the next discussion. We'll close it. We'll take it tomorrow. So this is what we have covered today, verse number 45, 46. Now, since we have talked about the Karma Kanda activities, no, with respect to 45, 46, the same thing is being discussed with respect in verses 42, 43. That is why this exercise we plan to have it earlier. So the best purpose of Vedanta philosophy is served by inoffensively chanting the holy name of the Lord. And the highest Vedantist is the great soul who takes pleasure in chanting the holy name of the Lord, because they are realized souls, right? And the one who knows the importance of the whole chanting of the holy name of the Lord is the one who can really practice it, isn't it? So this has been mentioned. Thanks, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. So we won't go with respect to this discussion. We'll cover this tomorrow. Bhagavad Gita 2.39. Okay, no? So once this is done, then we'll try to complete it by tomorrow, this chapter. We'll be able to complete it by tomorrow. So verse number 40 to 43 and 41 and 40. 40 to 43 is like with respect to the flowery words. So this we'll cover tomorrow. And there is an activity. We'll start with the activity first. That is with respect to verse number 40 and 41. And then we'll continue. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. And with this, I'll just end this session. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Guru Maharaj. Vancha kalpatarubhesha kripa sindhubhya evcha patitanam pavnebhyo vaishnavibhyo namo namo anant koti vaishnavinki jai Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Gaur Premanande Hari
Mataji,
Hari. Thank you.
Hari Hari Bol. Hare
Prabhuji,
Krishna,
yes,
Mataji.
please. Hare
Please
Krishna.
stop the YouTube live thing, Mataji. On the right hand corner, near recording, that YouTube thing will come with a thing. You just drop down menu and close the meeting, Mataji. You are live on YouTube still.
Oh, is it? Okay, sure,
Yes,
Prabhuji.
yes, yes.
Akash, Prabhuji, you have raised hand. Is there any question, Prabhuji?
Mataji,
Hare Krishna.
first you disconnect YouTube, Mataji.
Yeah, yes, Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji, please.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Mataji, one question I have. Mataji, how does maybe somewhat naive question, but how
No,
does
no, Prabhuji.
devotees learn that okay, what thing is written in which verse? Like we have heard
Mm.
Radhesham Prabhu and Chaitanya Charan Prabhu, they quote like anything. How?
Prabhuji, I just follow all the teachers, it's very difficult, and it is only by the mercy of all the spiritual teachers, all my Shiksha Gurus, I'm able to understand this, because someone has to be there to explain. And not only that, if we go with respect to the purports, whatever is written in the first line is automatically connected with the second line. But still, I tried multiple times. But other, without the mercy of these spiritual masters and our scriptures, it is very difficult to understand this, Prabhuji. It is only by the mercy of all our Shiksha Gurus and the teachers. and the Guru Parampara, Prabhuji. And yes, yeah, association of devotees really helps because we discuss, if we have any doubts, we discuss with everyone. So that is the only, that helps, that really helps, Prabhuji. I'll share a few, I've come across a few presentations also. I'll share that and a few, and other things is with respect to the spiritual master, spiritual teachers, Shiksha Gurus, Prabhuji, who have really helped. Yeah, I'll share whatever is possible. I'll share that with you.
Thank you very much,
Prabhuji.
Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranam. Yes, Prabhuji, I've stopped sharing. And Prabhuji, is my screen visible to you? Krishna Kumar Prabhuji?
Yes, yes, Mataji.
I'm
No, Mataji,
stopping.
your screen is visible, not visible.
Okay, I'm just